Oh yeah.
What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to Soccer Comic Rant. And this podcast might sound dope because we finally may have gotten this mic situation worked out. And Lee is pumping
Yes.
his fist. Yes, he can hear me. I can hear him. I can use the mic. I can use my focus right. It accidentally worked. Now I just have to leave this computer permanently connected to this focus right and this microphone and carry it around in my arms. But we're working today, so we got that. That's good. The only proof is after we send this to Aaron, the producer, we got to see if it comes back right. But so far, we good. And we got lots to talk about. Like, I was out of town this weekend, so I did not get to do the podcast sooner. And I was like, let's wait till after the Champions League games, after United plays. And I want to brag about the Garnacho goal, which everybody's been talking about, but it kind of got erased by the results of Man United at Galatasaray today. So I can't even have joy on the podcast. It's limited joy. You know what I mean? But we'll talk about that. Man City keeps rolling on in the Champions League. They tied with Liverpool this weekend in the Premier League. Man City's got Spurs this weekend, and Spurs lost last weekend. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Southampton, and they won in a midweek game. So the Saints keep rolling. Is that one of your songs?
Marching. We do the same
Keep marching.
when the Saints go marching in. Yeah.
When the Saints go marching in. And whatever else comes up, like the penalty that was a late penalty in the PSG game versus Newcastle. Newcastle were robbed, and they're so robbed, they're changing the rule next year already. That's what they talked about in the post game show out here. And to have a rule they know is bad and to continue it till the end of the year is kind of bananas. We'll talk about this new thing that somebody put in the chat. I think it was Martin. Martin always is responsible for all the bad news in the chat, and they're gonna try to implement an orange card, which I'm gonna put it on Lee to explain, and we'll get into that. So, my usual co-host, usual suspect, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fan, Lee Hudson. What's up, fam?
Hey, just yeah, been on a wild journey home from a show tonight. Just full of motorway diversions, but I made
Damn.
it. I'm here. Southampton won tonight as well, midweek game. They didn't win the game that I drove an 8-hour round trip to see at the weekend. They didn't want to win that one. But they decided to win tonight when I wasn't watching. So yeah, it's all good.
you What can I say, man? You're one of their biggest fans, and you make them nervous, bro. Like, like they have performance anxiety in front of you, and they're like, "Oh, Lee's watching live. Like, we hear him on the podcast. It's such a powerful podcast. We don't want him to. We don't want to disappoint him, and then, so let's play within ourselves."
Martin gets the word out to Bednarek about it, and
Yeah, Martin hits up Bednarek in Polish, and yeah, and ruins the whole game. So what's up, man? So you got back from the show. That's dope. And I
yeah,
was
made
just
it home.
and I was just telling you, like in LA, that happens too. Like you're describing how they just detour you and they'll tell you where to go, what your options are. Just like, good luck. Get off the freeway. It's closed down. Good luck. You know what I mean? We don't care that you have a podcast with Ian and you have to work in the morning. Son of a bitches. But I don't even know where to start, fam. To be honest, where do you think we should start?
I mean, we could start with the chaos of your game tonight. Um, there's lots to unpack there.
I mean, that we have no defense, that we have uh an a barely a goalkeeper, which is, listen, it would be crazy if we bought this guy from somewhere and he was supposed to be like this young up and comer that nobody knew. that was making mistakes, but I've seen him be successful. So to come to United and make amateur mistakes is almost like there's got to be a curse on this team. There's got to be a curse on this team. There's got to be something like we cannot resist pressing the self-destruct button. And it's like the players tease us. Like we won against Everton, Garnacho scored that wonder goal, probably the goal of the season. I think they stopped taking goals now after that goal scored because they said nothing's going to beat it. And then we win 3-0. And not only do we win 3-0, but we play with energy and we do the things that we normally haven't been doing all season. And we don't concede after we score, and we scored 3 times. Then we go to Galatasaray and we kind of silenced them. You know, we kind of like, welcome to hell. Well, we are the Red Devils. So we home and we go up 1-0. Then we go up 2-0. And we say, yeah, we're getting comfortable in hell. What else you got, Galatasaray? And then and this could only, the first mistake only happened because the two guys have played with each other before. And Onana tried to guess because I guess he feels he knows Ziyech's tendencies because they played together at Ajax. So he's like, I'm just going to dive before the free kick and guess where he's going because that's where he normally goes. And Ziyech was probably thinking, he knows where I normally goes, so let me go where I don't normally go. And Ziyech won. And penalty scores. And it's 2-1. But then, begin the second half, we get our shit together and we play more attacking football and we go up 3-1 and we're like, all right, we got this. There's no way we're going to lose this. So I was watching the game behind. And then Hendricks, the homie, Man United fan, he's been on the podcast before, texts me, he's like, if this keeper was under Ferguson, he would never play for us again. I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Something happened. I don't know what happened, but something happened. I was like, so now I'm like, how bad did he mess up? We're up 3-1. So maybe it's 3-2 and we're hanging on. So then the mistake happens. The other Ziyech free kick. And I was like, all right, this doesn't mean we lost. And then, to be honest, I didn't even see the third goal because I was in playback mode. It jumped forward to 3-3 and it wouldn't go back to show me. I was like, fuck it, let me just watch it from here. The game is over in real time. Let me just watch it from the 70-something minute. We played good. We made great chances, and we just couldn't have sex on our honeymoon night. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. We made hot wings and then threw them in the trash. We made an upside down cake and we didn't eat it. We put all the ingredients in the oven and never took it out. I just can't believe what Man United did. And the only thing that's going to make me keep watching this team, like I know I would never stop watching the team. So let me not say that. But Mainu came on, and for the few minutes that he was on the pitch, showed so much class, so much like just like next level class. Like, I want to ask you, did you see his moments in this game and the moments from this weekend versus Everton?
I saw him against Everton. I've just seen literally goals from tonight, nothing else.
Goals. Well, he gave, people keep putting up his touches. Mainu touches is like a popular set of compilation videos. And just watch it, bro. Like, I am not jumping the gun. He is England's, like Henderson's old. The other guy is not starting for Man City, and he does start for England. But he's the CDM, bro, for the Euros. He's the CDM for the Euros. Like, one game into his Manchester United career and 20 minutes into a 3-3 tie in hell. That's England's CDM of the future. Like, he's amazing, bro. And when he touches
And
the
he's
ball,
18 as
18,
well. It's crazy.
it's like nothing else. Like, who are the best young players in the world? Let's name them. Because I wouldn't even put Garnacho on his level, even after Garnacho just scored that goal, bro. He's up there with Bellingham.
Yeah.
It just when you every time he touches the ball, it just feels special, even if it's just a normal pass. And just the way he handles a situation and creates space out of no space. Like, even Amrabat looks jittery when Amrabat gets the ball, even if he gets out of an encirclement or a pincer. This kid, and listen, whoever got him as a youth player, thank you. It's
He's
amazing.
He's a local kid though. He's from Stockport, which is just
Stockport.
outside Manchester. He's like he's a local guy. He's not someone that like got poached from another club or anything. He's made at Carrington from a child.
He could have ended up at City because Foden is from Stockport. They call him Stockport Iniesta. So this dude, he's better than. Listen, I'm not even gonna jinx it. I don't like. I just. This is special, bro, and shit is special. Kid is special, man. So United, I will keep watching you because of this kid. We need to be better defensively, bro. Like,
yeah.
We need to be better defensively. I think the idea of Casemiro early in the season and the idea of McTominay is to get McTominay forward more, to be that guy running in the box that nobody's tracking and get those goals. But we're like when Liverpool and Klopp first got to Liverpool, where we would score, but they would score. They would score on Liverpool. Like, Liverpool would have like a lot of 3-2, 3-3. It's like when Newcastle had all that firepower. Like, we need to have one of our guys in the midfield. We need two people to stay back to help cover. I feel like that's what we need, and occasionally figure out when to go forward. But today was pretty disappointing, and it felt like a loss, and it feels more like a loss because we're basically out of Champions League and we're out of Europa League. We're at the bottom of a group that we could have finished second, and that wasn't a bad Galatasaray team either. When I saw I recognized so many names on that list of players that they started. I was like, that's a good team. That's a good team. So it's not like they were slouches, but yeah, man, it's just crazy. Can you think of like any other young players right now? There's Gabby.
I really like the kid at PSG, Warren Zaire-Emery.
Yes, I love that kid too.
He's only 17 and plays in a similar position to Mainu. And he's already had like 20. I think he was like the quickest ever player to 20 first team appearances with PSG. He's played for France, the senior team now as well. So he's one I think is like up there as one of the best young talents in sort of world football. But yeah, Mainu's, I mean, he's doing what he's doing in the first team at 18, and for him to come back from an injury and for Ten Hag to just go, you're starting against Everton, sort of shows I think the level of trust in a player like that already. Knowing that it was going to be an atmosphere at Everton as well with the points deduction they'd just taken, it was going to be a bit of a bear pit. So to put an 18-year-old into that and to trust him and for him to play like he did, it speaks volumes.
Yeah, and then to like at Everton, that Garnacho goal after the atmosphere that those Everton fans created because of the 10-point deduction, like that Garnacho goal shut it all down at Everton. That's stop that. Like, it was the perfect goal at the perfect time to like get Man United out of the bear pit and make things even. And then we could play from even. It just like imagine all week you're an Everton fan. Yeah, we're gonna be loud. We're gonna push these players forward, and we're gonna really let everybody know our voice. You're gonna take 10 points from us, and and then that goal happens to you. I mean, and that goal happens 3 minutes in, and you're just like, it just defeated that crowd, and so it was perfect. So that's the amazing thing about that Garnacho goal. And I wanted to shout out all the players who was involved, like the Lindelof, the long pass to Rashford, the simple pass to the overlapping the lot, straight pass across the pitch to to Garnacho, and Garnacho, I'm pretending I'm Garnacho giving the Puskas speech, and I'd like to thank the lot finally for crossing the ball in not the best way possible. So I had to run backwards to bicycle it, and to Pickford for reaching for it and making the goal look even more spectacular. You never stood a chance, buddy, but thank you for adding to it. But yeah, man. After that, I don't know. I'm just speechless after today. It's like, what do you say when we just throw away our chance to continue?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not even a guaranteed that you'll get into the Europa League by finishing third. Because I mean, I guess there is the hope that Bayern are just in holiday mode when you play them. Because that's the actual final game, isn't it? Bayern.
Yeah, at home.
And they've already qualified. They can't even finish second now. They've come top, like guaranteed. So hopefully they'll rest some players for you, and you can get something there. But I mean, that's crazy that they're on 13 points. Copenhagen on 5, Galatasaray on 5, and you guys are on 4. That's nuts.
We have 4. I'm
yeah.
surprised we got 4.
It's just crazy the way the games have gone. Like obviously, the game against Copenhagen, the last one was looking fine, and then it was a red card in that game, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that screwed everything up.
Bad pass to Casemiro. Casemiro had to foul, gets the red, and I think there was a penalty, or at least we went down a man for sure.
It was Rashford. Rashford got sent off.
And then Rashford got sent off in one, and then Onana messed up at Bayern. He messed up in one of the Copenhagen games too.
Yeah.
So,
and even tonight though, like if you win tonight, you're on 6 points and you're above both of those teams, and gives you a bit more of a chance going into that last game of qualifying. But I mean, it's pretty criminal to be 2-0 up, even away from home in a tough place. Like to be 2-0 up, you just need like the experienced players in your team to just sort of say, right, just calm down. They're going to try and come at us. We need to absorb that, and then just look after the ball as well. That was the other thing. Is like I think some of your players they lost a bit of bravery in terms of on the ball. Like Galatasaray ended up with more possession, and you're Man United. You should be going there and saying, no, we're gonna like, even though you're going to come at us, we're gonna take the ball and we're going to control you, kind of thing. And it just felt a little bit. As soon as those 2 goals went in, the 2 that Onana made the mistakes on from Ziyech, you could kind of tell the third was going to come for Galatasaray, which you don't want that feeling in the game. Once one goal went in, you wanted your big players to step up and go, no, we're not. I mean, you sort of did. Like McTominay scored the goal for 3-1, and it's like, no, we're back in charge now. And you don't really want to see that. So yeah, it's sort of the mentality is a little bit worrying, I think there. Like I say, I haven't seen all of it. I've seen the goals, and people just it looked a little bit flaky. And yeah, the Onana thing's weird because he's so up and down. Like there's games where it's looked like he's the player that you signed. He makes some great saves, and he does what he does with the ball at his feet. And then there's just games like tonight where it's like you can't really excuse it. Like you can't, like a Premier League goalkeeper, a Champions League goalkeeper should be doing better than he's done. I saw like he's letting the most goals in the Champions League this season out of any keeper. Since the 2018-19 season, he's made the most mistakes leading directly to a goal out of any goalkeeper in Europe.
Damn.
And it's just, like I mean, obviously I played in goal, so I hate people really going at goalkeepers, but it's fine. Like I say, you can't really excuse what some of the stuff he's doing, some of the mistakes he's making, because a keeper of his supposed caliber should be doing better with those. And when it happens once or twice, you're like, okay. But now it's like, I mean, the count this season, sorry, is that it's getting out of hand. And it's almost like, Ten Hag's shown faith in him and kept him in, but is it time to take the pressure off him, pull him out the firing line for the next game, put someone else in? But I don't know who your other option is right now. Is it the Turkish kid?
We got some Turkish kid. Meanwhile, we had a kid that won the league was it the Ukrainian league or was it the Russian league? And we sold him, who I liked that kid in preseason. So now we got I think the Turkish kid. And
yeah, it's looking Altay Banyadir.
He's like untested. Like we haven't, not even a League Cup game, nothing. I don't think we use him in anything. So I don't know. It's crazy.
He played. I'm just looking. He played like over 100 games for Fenerbahce, and he's 25. So he's not even. I mean, according to the Turkish kid, he's not even a kid. He's a 6'6" man. That's played a whole bunch of games. Played for 8 caps for Turkey. Like, put him in. Like, give him a game now. Like, it's time to show what he can do. Because, yeah, like I say, it's getting harder and harder to make excuses for Onana when he's, causing you this sort of pain in big games.
Yeah, Onana ain't even making excuses for Onana. You know it's bad when Harry Maguire is not the one making the mistakes in the backfield. It's a mess back there. That's all I can say. It's a complete mess back there. What do you think of that call in the Champions League game, PSG versus Newcastle? Newcastle goes to PSG, mano a mano, and battles their ass off and gets a goal, gets ahead, and does everything possible. It's the last probably 10 minutes of the game, and they're just trying to get out of there with the 1-goal lead and stay alive in their first Champions League like group stage for a minute. And that handball from and it was on Livramento, right? And Livramento, he's the one that created the goal for Newcastle in the first place in the first half. And then now this, but what do you think of that call? Do you pen?
No, it's never a penalty in my opinion. He got done dirty there. They've already taken the VAR official off duty for the next round of games.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, which says everything really. Because I mean, like the ball hits his chest first, and then his arm isn't like out or like outstretched or around. His arm is bent in a natural position, and it comes off the chest onto the elbow. Like it stopped the cross, but I mean, it's his chest that stopped it first. It's just such a harsh one to give, and obviously I like Livramento. He's an ex-Southampton player.
Right.
It was a big night for him. He's only sort of in the team really because of injuries. And he was going up against Mbappe and Dembele, like switching sides and running at him and stuff. And at times he got overran a little bit. I think Nick Pope in goal for Newcastle pulled off some great saves, kind of kept Newcastle in it. But they think they've done it. They think they've weathered the storm. He's pulled off these saves. They pulled off some last ditch defending. they're looking like they're going to keep that clean sheet, and then for a decision like that, for it to come so late in the game as well, is just crushing, really. Like it's one of those ones where it's a draw, but it feels like a loss if you're a Newcastle fan, and all the Newcastle fans I know were devastated by it as well.
Oh, word.
Like yeah, it's just like it kind of cost them sort of their chance of potentially going through as well. So let me just have a look at the group they're in, because yeah, if they won, they'd have been sitting in a much better position. Where is their group? Yeah, so their group is Dortmund top on 10, PSG on 7, Newcastle 5, Milan 5, and Newcastle play Milan in the final game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a shootout essentially to see who finishes potentially third. But if PSG lose to Dortmund and Newcastle win, they could still go above. And I think if Newcastle win and PSG draw, Newcastle still goes through. So PSG need to win in Dortmund, and Newcastle need to not win for PSG to go through. But yeah, it's put them in a lot tougher position. They'd be in a great position if that game had gone their way and it finished with the win. Because then all they'd need to do is draw in their last game, Newcastle. So yeah, I kind of feel like they got with the injuries all they had, that they were putting out a threadbare team going up against one of Europe's strongest. So yeah, I feel for them. It was definitely the wrong call in my opinion.
I feel like on the low, a lot of Newcastle's injured players are back. The only person who was there is Callum Wilson, but you got Isak and Livramento. I don't know who he's in place for. I know he's young, and there was somebody, I forgot who was over on that side before. But I think on the low they had Gumerez there, because even Eddie Howe was alluding to the injuries, like at the end of the game, and it's like, no man, you got a lot of your players back. Almiron was injured at one point. He's back. Joe Linton is back. Gumerez was there. I think one of the homegrown dudes, I forgot his name right now. Like he's injured, but he doesn't always start, but he is a good player for them. But that was great for Newcastle to go up there and come back with something. You know what I mean? Which they needed to, and they were robbed. That's never a handball. That's the only way that ball could not touch his hand is if he didn't have any hands. It's like you can't call that, Yeah. And like you said, like taking that ref off, like they should sit that VAR official and Onana out for the week to chill with each other and commiserate over what a terrible Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday that they both had. Like you didn't have to say anything, bro. You could have just let it go, but you like had to draw attention and say, "Hey, man, I want you to look at this." And then the ref, I think, because PSG wanted a penalty for a call before, and they didn't give it, that it's an accumulation thing. Like you're like, all right, we got to give them one of these.
Yeah.
It's two calls. They're kind of similar, but they're both just close calls. They're both not penalties. To be honest, maybe the other one was definitely more. I don't know if it was a penalty. It was more of a penalty than this one, because I've seen the first one given. So I think it's almost like a makeup call. But yeah, it's a devastating call at the end of a game. And then Mbappe put the ball away. Mbappe was balling all game. Dembele is just all problems to people. That is a rough side of the pitch to be on. And yeah, I feel kid for that kid. The only good thing about that equalizer was that kid Barclay, I think, had 4 chances to put the ball in the net. Pope saved some of them. Some he just missed. So maybe that takes some of the death threats away from him that I know he's probably still going to get anyway from the PSG Ultras. But yeah, man, horrendous call. Horrendous.
Yep.
What's going on with your team?
We won tonight. We beat Bristol City 1-0. My brother went to the game. Um, he was texting me while he was there. He was not impressed.
With
Our
Bristol
keep
or you guys?
with us, like our keeper had to make a couple of big saves in the first half. Apparently, we eventually scored one goal, but then we did the same when I watched us at the weekend against Huddersfield. Against Huddersfield, we went 1-0 up, and we didn't push for a second. We just tried to keep the ball and just slow the game right down. Not time wasting, but just trying to be in control of the game, just by
Right.
moving the ball around the pitch. And the problem was, like, against Huddersfield at the weekend, the game I went to, we just got sloppy. Like, we were trying to move the ball around the pitch, but then eventually, after like the 20th pass, someone will play one into someone that is under hit, and the opposition can steal in and grab the ball, and then all of a sudden we're trying to defend on the transition, and that happened too often. And we were like, all the fans around me were like, "We're going to fuck this up," and then we did eventually. Like they scored a goal, and it's just so frustrating. I know what the team are trying to do, but so often when we had the ball, like if we won the ball in our own half, we don't attack. We try and keep the ball in our half and control the ball, and it means their whole team can drop back and defend. So we never attack quickly. We never counter attack because the manager doesn't want to sort of the game to become too open. The sort of the double transitions from happening. So we try and do that, but the only chances we really created against Huddersfield were when we attack quickly, because when we let a team drop into the low block, we haven't got players that are good enough to really break teams down consistently in that low block when they've got, you know, the whole team behind the ball. Whereas we've got pace in our team that suits spacing behind and running at people. Because when you drop into a low block, we can get some of our best players 1v1, but they're not 1v1. They're 1v1 with two covering defenders behind them. So if we beat one player, we just go straight into a tackle, because they're able to just get the bodies behind the ball, and it's frustrating to watch at times. The manager's criticised it though. He said the players didn't have enough intensity against Huddersfield, which I would say is true, but I don't know if it's them not quite understanding what he's asking them to do. There seems to be some teething problems, but I shouldn't be too negative. We are unbeaten in 10 games. We've drawn 2 of them. We won 8 of them.
Unbeaten in 10?
Yeah. The wins
Jesus
haven't
Christ.
necessarily been convincing. I think they've all been by like 1 goal, other than the Leeds game at home that we won 3-1. Yeah, a lot of them have been 1-0s or 2-1s and scoring late goals. But yeah, I mean,
Bro,
we're
take
getting the
those,
points.
bro.
Oh
Take
yeah,
those.
we're getting the points. So, like I say, hopefully the team's going to grow in terms of their understanding of what the manager wants, and we can start, because it's so frustrating when you can see that your team is clearly better than the opposition, but they won't push and bury them. You know, I want to see 2 goals. I want to see 3 goals. I want to see the result. Then we can start passing the ball around when we're 2-0, 3-0 up, and start getting comfortable on the ball. 1-0 is too precarious to do that. It's like we need to be a bit more ruthless, because we've got really good finishers in the team. Adam Armstrong's having a ball. He's scored a bunch of goals already this season. Stuart Armstrong as well is playing well. Alcaraz is doing okay in the team at times, and Suleiman is a Premier League quality player in my opinion. But yeah, we just need to be a little bit more clinical. But like I say, those wins are good. Leicester drew tonight. They didn't win. Ipswich lost. Ipswich won tonight, but they lost at the weekend. So even those top 2 places aren't looking completely out of reach right now, if we can put more results together. But Leeds are doing well as well. Right now, Leeds are 3rd and we're 4th. We might even be on the same points or similar. Let me have a look. But West Brom have been putting some results together as well. So they actually went above us because they played the day before us. So they went above us, and then we went back above them tonight. Yeah, so Leicester are top on 43. Ipswich are on 42. Leeds on 35. We're on 34. So we're within 9 points at the top of the league, which in the Championship, there's so many games. Like you can make that up if you need to. So we're 8 points off second, 9 points off top, and then West Brom are 2 points behind us on 32. So yeah, there's lots to play for. If we can try and stay consistent and keep getting the wins, hopefully those other clubs will keep making mistakes and we can try and reel them in a little bit. Because I don't want. I mean, if it came to it, if it's playoffs or nothing, I'll take the playoffs. But I would love to avoid the playoffs. If we can go up automatically, that would just be, yeah, because nobody wants the playoffs. The playoffs are a great way to win, but the worst way to lose.
Oh, yeah. Because it
If you
feels
get
like
to
you just
that
won a
playoff,
championship
yeah,
if you win, and then it feels like you just lost the championship, but more if you lose.
yeah, that's it. I would happily go up in second place with no real celebration because we haven't won the league, but we didn't win the playoff final game. But if we could just go up sort of anonymously in second place, I'll take that.
That's funny.
But if we
Because
can get to playoffs,
if you finish at Wembley, do those teams that come third get a parade?
a little bit sometimes because they get a trophy from it.
Right.
And you've won a final game at Wembley, so it's if you win for winning the playoffs, it's sort of bigger as an occasion than finishing second in the league. But the last time we got promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, we did that by finishing second. And I was not complaining. I did not care that we didn't win the league. So yeah, it's like I say, it's a long old season. We played 18 games so far, and it's a 44 game season. No, 46 game season, I think. Sorry. We have a look how many teams. It's 46 game season. We played 18. So we've still got 28 games to play, which is crazy. So it's such a long season. And yeah, I think we can potentially reel one or two of Leicester and Ipswich in if we can stay consistent, but they're always going to pick up form as well. So yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint, but I'm glad we're not losing. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. 8 wins, 2 draws in 10 games. That's astounding in any league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's It's too bad you couldn't enjoy. You know what I mean? Because of the way they're playing. But hey, man, just take it. Like it's risky in that type of league to play good looking football, and win. And not everybody can Burnley,
Yeah, and then I mean, look at Burnley this season. I think they're the only promoted team that haven't won a game yet.
Right. They almost fell apart against, was it West Ham?
Yeah, it was West Ham. Yeah, they're 1-0 up, and then they blew it and lost 2-1. I kind of feel for them, but yeah,
could have got him with his crosses. And then this weekend was a big match. I got to watch it. I had to, Canada, and it's just like, yeah, Canada just won't let me watch Premier League, fam. So I'm like, how can I watch, Liverpool versus Man City? So I just stream it, and I try to get one of those like first row sports streams, but none of the links they put out activated. I was frustrated, and then there was other choices below that on the Google search. So I click on one, and it's showing me the game. I'm watching the game, and then every like 3 minutes for like 20 seconds, something will pop on the screen to say, you want to purchase a VPN, and I don't, and then I see 10 minutes of the game interrupted by, those ads, and then it just cuts off. And then I was like, shit, the VPN that they were advertising, I don't know it. So I was like, that could be some like, hacker shit. So I was like, all right, I have all the football channels, but I'm in the wrong country. So, but this VPN thing gave me an idea. I know Nord is promoted by all the major channels. So I was like, let me get a NordVPN. So I got the NordVPN, and then I'm in the coffee shop too. Yeah, I'm in the coffee shop. I get the NordVPN, and then I just figure out how to use it, and then I watch the game. You know, like I set a location in London or some part of England, and then I just start watching the game, bro. It's like as I can't. So now I have no, and it was a Black Friday NordVPN sale, so I just paid for 2 years. So I'm ready to go back to anywhere and watch my Premier League, fam. I watched that. I watched be able to watch it anyway. So yeah, so good looking out, Nord. But again, the game happened on the weekend, and it was 1-1, right? And just good
Yeah.
for you know, we was trying to set this game up and talk about it last weekend to see, because it's repercussions. Like Liverpool is on the comeback. They trying to say, hey, this is a real test, and let's see how we doing this test. We're right behind Man City, and we got to see if we're gonna really compete with them this year for the thing. And they tied 1-1. They got a point against Man City, treble winners, and the Liverpool's players showed that they got a little hang. Now it's a long season. There's a lot more games to play. One thing I did like that I just remember that Klopp did, he substituted all five, or used all five of his subs to like refresh. Like I think teams should do it more, but to put like, you just substituted half your team that's on the pitch. Like there's one guy in the goal, but there's 10 players on the pitch, and you substituted 5 of them to like get them the energy to keep up with this team. And if you got it, why not use it? You know what I mean? Like, why not use everybody? They're all pretty competent, capable midfielders / strikers, and you can mix them up in a good combo. And so he put them out there, and they held it. So, like I recommend or respect, and all Klopp substitutions in that game, and just to the 1-1 to me is a victory. And I love Klopp and Pep's relationship. Like that was the longest conversation before our game I've ever seen two coaches that are competing against each other at the top level have, and after they did not want to leave each other alone. Like they talk, say goodbye, one will walk away, then the other one will have something else to say, and then it'll repeat the other way. So like they don't get to talk. This is the only way they get to talk, because they're competitors against each other. So they can't imagine not being able to talk to a comic that you get along with and have learned some shit from, that pushes you because you're in competition with each other. And you would like to be friends with that person. That person is friends, would like to be friends with you. That has to be a crazy life to live.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
There's stories, I don't know if managers still do it, but back in the day, like managers would always invite the opposition manager into their office for a glass of wine after the game, and stuff like that. I don't know if that still happens to the same extent anymore, but I always kind of like that tradition. It sounded nice.
Yeah, when Ferguson became a manager, like he set this tone where he ruffled the feathers of the most any manager who had a team that could threaten his team and steal the title. He started psychological warfare immediately. Like I'm fucking with your head. I'm fucking with your team players' heads. Like nobody on my team is gonna be fucking with anything on your team. Like the medics gonna have beef with your medics. You know what I mean? It's like nothing. It was all out war just to prepare for the game on the pitch. But it's good to see like these two would be friends. It's class.
It was a good game to watch, that one as well, though. Just a high quality game. Just was fun watching those two teams go at each other. And credit to Liverpool for staying in the game as well. Because there were times when City looked like they might be able to go clear, but Liverpool, they did well. Tsimikas, he gets criticised sometimes, some of his defending, but I thought he did well considering he was, in that environment. Trent could have got absolutely ruined by Doku. But he did the best he could, and it was enough. And
Yeah,
you're never going to
he
be able to shut him down completely.
right. But he didn't get ruined by Doku. He got
No.
Doku by Ake. Ake
Mm.
Doku'd him, got between him and who was the other? I think Matip, and then passed the ball. And then who is it? Who scored that first goal for
Haaland.
for Haaland? Yeah, and got the ball to Haaland. So then it's a good thing Trent at the end. That Trent's goal, I watched it a bunch of times, and I know it's nothing compared to Garnacho's goal, but that's a great fucking goal.
Yeah.
If you only watch that goal again, that's a great goal, and he made up for like kind of being responsible for Man City goal. That's a fucking great goal.
It's absolute laser beam of a finish, just straight in that bottom corner. What do you think of the goal that City had disallowed for the foul on Alisson when the ball was up in the air? And I think Ruben Diaz put it in.
I wouldn't have been mad if they gave that, because there's too much flopping going on.
Yeah.
And in order for people to stop flopping and start playing, you got to make some of those calls to be like, hey, man, if you flop, this is what's going to happen. So play strong. And if they foul you, we'll give you the call. But if you pretend, a part of the reason everybody hates VAR, but the reason why we need VAR, and I said this before, is because players cheat. Now they're honestly trying to keep their hands out of the way. Before they would hand it and say, oh, it was an accident, and pretend, and no, you did that on purpose. And now people are diving, so you need VAR, and then fans are complaining it takes too long. But you tell the players to stop. Some of this fault is not the officiating people's fault. And some of it is the players' fault. And fans gotta, the players don't get enough blame for the state of where football is. And speaking of state of where football is, you want to bring up this thing, which is the craziest thing. The craziest thing to me, bro.
Yeah, they're looking at adding in, they're calling them orange cards, but essentially they're going to be 10-minute sin bins. So it's mainly for if a player is crossing the line on dissent, so shouting at the referees, talking shit to the refs, swearing at the refs, they could get given a 10-minute sin bin. They're talking about maybe doing it for what they call professional fouls. So if a player just tries to pull a player back when they didn't mean to, or when they weren't even trying to get the ball, kind of thing. Not if it's a last man thing. If it's a last man thing, it'd be a red card. But the Chiellini one on Saka in the Euros final, where he just grabbed him by the shirt. They're looking at maybe for stuff like that. And the player will go off for 10 minutes and then come back in. I'm not a fan of the idea. I think it's, there's yellow cards and red cards for a reason. Just define what quantifies what more, and then we're fine with those things. It's not the biggest issue in the game, I don't think. There's other things that need to be fixed, like the way VAR is all over the place right now. Like you say, players trying to cheat a little bit too much is more of an issue than these other things. I think there's more pressing concerns that should have been addressed prior to this. Some of the levels I've coached at, they put it in, and everyone hated it. Nobody enjoyed it, and it was kind of weird. And I've seen people saying that it'll just me and a team will just do nothing for 10 minutes. They'll just park the bus. Unless it's Postecoglou's Tottenham, in which case they'll play on the halfway line with 10. But
with or without the player, with or without
exactly.
the extra man. Yeah.
I don't really. I'm not a fan. I think it'll be, it might cause chaos, or it might not. Like I say, it might just cause a stalemate for 10 minutes where one team just has no intention on attacking. They just sit off and be like, oh, we'll just ride this out until we get our player back. I think the current system, disciplinary wise, works fine. If someone gets a yellow card, they know they're on their last warning. We just need the refs to be more consistent and VAR to be more consistent and the rules to have a bit more clarity to them. I don't think we need this.
Yeah, it's just too many rules. It's just, listen, just enforce the ones that are already in existence well, and you won't need to make new rules. This, number one, hockey, this is something they do in hockey. Hockey is one of the top sports in America, but it ain't the most popular sport in America, and it ain't the most popular sport in the world. So why are we adding something from one of the least popular sports in the world to the most popular sport in the world? Like, you don't take bad ideas you don't take ideas from sports that are lagging behind you to improve your sport. This is just going to drag our sport back closer. Why don't you just change the soccer ball to a puck then afterwards? Why don't you just let them fight too? Like, what else are you going to take from all sports? Are we going to be able to recognize this soccer or football anymore after they just keep switching shit? Like, the game is fine. We just need to refine VAR and we're good. We don't need to add another card. We already added the 5 substitutions, which is fine. I would never had a problem with it, especially with the game pileup that we had because of the, COVID, and then all the tournaments in the summertime that had to, be moved, and so players had to play so much. So the 5 substitutions, great, but now this looks too close to hockey with the 5 substitutions and a bullpen, And then if you're a black player, I'm not going to jail for 10 minutes while I'm working. You know what I mean? I'm a professional. I'm not you're not going to put me in jail in front of the world for 10 minutes. No, I'm good. Like, forget that. And it's let's not break this sport any more than it's broken now. Like, it's never going to be perfect, and this definitely ain't gonna make it perfect. What's the big game for the weekends coming up? I feel like there's 2.
Let me have a look. Newcastle, Man United's got to be up there. Newcastle fresh off European heartbreak. United fresh off European heartbreak. One self-inflicted, one not. I think, the fact that it's at Newcastle as well, another bear pit of an atmosphere. And then Man City, Tottenham, it's got to be the other one. So, yeah, they'll be the 2 games I've got my eye on.
It's hostile week for Man United. You know what I mean? It's just hostility week. Like, first we have to go to the rawest Everton we ever been to, or it's been in a while. And Everton's already tough to play in, and then they just made it tougher by taking the 10 points and us being the first team to play them after that. Then we had to go to a place, it says hell on the TV screen when you're looking at the stands. Like, the fans spell out welcome to hell. They all own a letter of hell. And then we handle it, and then we mishandle it. And then now we got to go to Newcastle, the Galatasaray of the goddamn Premier League. It's tough, but I don't know. Our players are playing stronger in these rougher environments, and that's kind of a weird thing to say after today's results, but I got to give them credit for getting 3 goals in that hostility. I hate that they gave 3 goals up, but I got to give them credit for playing better and more cohesively than they have played all season. And to me, it looks more like these are building block mistakes. So let's see what happens at Newcastle. It's going to be tough, but we got a Mainu.
If you can
And that's what I
channel
love.
the first 20 minutes of the Galatasaray game, then you'll be great.
Yeah.
Just
It,
not the rest of it.
you know, it's funny. I spoke to Lloyd, right? And he's like, "What's up with Anthony? I didn't see him all game." And I said, "Lloyd, that's one of the best games he's played for us." And he's like, "Oh my Lord." And I said, "Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly."
that's 80 million pounds worth of player right there, or whatever it was you paid for him.
Too much. We got price gouged by Ajax. And yeah, it was definitely not a Black Friday sale. It's like right before Black Friday.
They
We
saw you
bought,
coming.
and they saw us coming. Yeah, yeah, we got.
But
But you know,
on the positive side, going to the other game, City Tottenham, this could be Tottenham's fourth loss in a row.
and which, which, listen, I knew, hey man, it's crazy. You can lose games when your players are injured.
Who'd have
You
thought?
know what I mean? Who would have thought? You know that you can lose games. So are we like fire past now? Are we on that, or are we saying or realizing in a sensible way, press who were in love with Pass, honeymooned him when he got the first 10 wins or 10 games without a loss in a row. Like, are they off board now? Because they're saying this is their typical cliche thing. It's like, should you play a high line when your players are injured? Yeah, you should still. You should always teach the players who haven't got a chance to play in that style, give them the chance to play in that style. And you're going to get the other players back. And sometimes those players that are playing in place of the players who are gone are going to have to play with the players who are gone when they come back. And they all need to be on the same page. So, but you're going to lose this weekend. You're going to lose, and it's going to be 4 in a row. And Man United may or may not get in front of you. Aston Villa already is. Lloyd is so happy that Aston Villa is in the Champions League spot. Aston Villa is in the Champions League spot, and they're playing in the Conference League this week. Like, so kudos to Unai Emery, man. He's come back to the Premier League to get revenge. What do you think of whose chances in this game? I mean, in the Man City.
I mean, it's got to be City, but I mean, it's the sort of one with Tottenham. You know, they're on a 3-game losing streak, and if they turn it around in this game, that'll be you know, huge props to them. But hopefully they don't. Hopefully City do their thing. I'm going to captain Haaland in my fantasy team in the hope that he can take advantage of that ropey Spurs defense with some of their key players missing. So yeah, I'm hoping for a steamrolling City victory.
Is Romero going to be back? Because he's not injured. His was a suspension.
Yeah, he might be. Who knows? Let me have a little look.
Van de Ven is still injured, and the buy of the season that Martin calls him.
No, Romero
injured.
is still suspended.
Yes.
He is suspended until the 7th. So he'll be back for the next game, which is against West Ham.
Madison's still out?
Yep, as far as I'm aware.
As far as I'm aware, and Van de Ven. All right. Hey, Spurs, good luck. I'm watching that game. I don't even need the VPN. I'm all over it. I'm a chair in my living room. I'm a chair in this living room one way or the other this weekend.
You're not up in the frozen north again.
Yeah. Calgary was off the chain though.
Oh,
Calgary was off the chain.
I saw the room on your stories. It looked a great gig.
It was in a club called Cowboys, and Lachlan Patterson was on the show. He's Canadian. He lives in America. And he was like, this is the most popular club in the country. It's not a comedy club, but he's like, if you go to Calgary, wherever you come from in Canada, when you go back to where you come from, people say, "Did you get into Cowboys?" And they had a comedy show there, and everybody who worked there, it's like the work staff was casted. I Calgary is like white people's Brazil in cold. There's some amazing looking people in that town. That's all I
Yeah,
got to say.
I did a show with Lachlan when I was out there. I did a Don't Tell show with him down in Venice. He was great.
Yeah, he's dope. He texted me and I forgot to hit him back, so I got to hit him back because I was just traveling. But yeah, fun night, fun show. It was good working, and we hung out with some people after the show. Went to this place called Cactus. We ate there, and it's like they have these spots all over Canada, and you get some good late night food. Tastes like dinner food, quality and healthy.
Nice.
So that was dope. And Vancouver did that. It was just beautiful. I went to Whistler and some other places. What's going on in the fantasy league? Who's where?
Let's have a look. I had a very mediocre week in this fantasy football. I got 42 points. I had some players that did okay. Watkins scored for me. Haaland scored for me. Fernandez got an assist. Yeah, Fernandez got me an assist. Saliba got me a clean sheet. So, yeah, I had some players do okay. I'm still above Martin. That's the main thing.
Oh, good. Yeah,
I'm still above Martin. I'm in 18th. Martin's in 20th. Neil is still in 12th though. Neil is up there.
All right, Neil.
We got a new leader though, Garjan Lau. He was up around the top at different times last season. So Garjan Lau, he's top right now. He had a good week. He got 60 points. Who did he have? He had Gordon for Newcastle, who was great. He had Salah who got an assist. Watkins got the goal. Haaland got the goal. Saka got an assist for him. Saliba got a clean sheet. He did pretty well. So yeah, Garjan Lau, congrats, number one for this week.
All right, Garjan, congratulations, doing your thing. Neil, stay 12th, man. Don't let Martin get ahead of you. And Lee, stay ahead of Martin. Yeah, Martin's slipping like the real Spurs. Even Martin's fantasy team is Spursy. Anything that we missed that we should cover? I can't think of anything.
Nothing major, I don't think. We got the big bits.
Yeah, we got the big bits done. Thank you all for listening and for watching. Hopefully, let me know how you all feel about the sound. Does it sound better? I'm trying to refine it. Also trying to
say people are quick to tell you when it's bad. Let's have some praise when it's good.
Yes. Yeah. Now you won't be afraid to recommend the podcast to people if it's good, because it's good, right? The sound is good. So I think that's been holding some people back. Like, the sound has been trash for years. So, and that's on my end. You know what I mean? I accept responsibility. I've been the Onana of this podcast for years. I've been, sound errors. You know what I mean? So let us know. Let us know. You got anything you want to plug? Shows?
No, I've got a bunch of stuff. December's keeping busy still, all the way up until Christmas. I got some shows in between Christmas and New Year's as well. So if you go on my Instagram, Lee Hudson Comedy, I'm going to be posting up my December list of shows. I'm all over the UK still, mostly in London, but I've got stuff dotted around the country. I'm up in Birmingham again. I'm out in Bristol. I've got a few bits around. I'll be posting those up.
All right, dope. And I'll be at the Comedy Store all week. And I think Largo on Friday and the Laugh Factory on Friday. Friday's busy. But I'm in town. Follow me on Instagram or just go to the Comedy Store website and they'll let you know. On Instagram, I am at Ian Edwards Comic. And hey, man, great time in Calgary. Thanks everybody that came out to the show. Y'all a great crowd. It was fun as shit. And thanks for organization for bringing me out there and those comics. Good good group of comics, good crowd. It's fun shit. And thanks again, Lee. Did your thing. Thanks for rushing back from a show, even though England's transit authorities did not want you to get home at all or do this podcast.
Thanks for waiting for me.
Oh, no.
As I was detouring around the country.
My pleasure, man. Fuck it. Why not? How else would I know the sound works?
That's the only reason you hung on, wasn't it? Because you're like, I need to know if this mic works or not.
Yeah, so is this thing accidentally fixed? I need to know. I gotta wait for Lee. All right, but thanks, fam. Everybody, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you next week. One.